Okay, switching up locations today. We're currently in the staff break room. Behind me, you can see the England shirts, which in itself is probably a whole episode. They are 3 years old now. So we launched those for the 2022 World Cup, and we didn't sell them all, as you can see. They're still behind me, and we've sold them at the previous Euros. So yeah, that's a big story. I think maybe I'll dive into that in a specific episode. But yeah, it didn't go well for us. I want to say thank you for all the comments, messages off the first episode. We got 150 viewers at the time of recording this on YouTube, and then 50 on Spotify. So not huge numbers, but numbers that took me by surprise. I didn't really think anyone would tune in, to be honest. Like, I knew obviously my mom would show some support and my mates too, but it's just me waffling really. There's no huge like sell in this per se, as like a normal YouTube video is with a payoff at the end. So yeah, thanks for all the support. This week, a lot has happened. First thing I want to jump into is a comment left by Sam about a book I hinted at. I said I read a few books, one of them changed my life, and I stand by this and I recommend it to everyone. It's called The 4 Hour Working Week. I read it when I was 16, 17. I think I might have read it like off a podcast recommendation or something online. Bought it off Amazon, secondhand, read it, and the stuff in there from Tim Ferris, even though it is a bit dated, the principles were just amazing to me. Like, they blew my mind. For anyone who hasn't read it, it's basically this concept of escaping a 9 to 5 through either delegation of your work or starting a business and delegating your work within that business. And at the time, I was running a business called Roy's Football Shirts. So 16, 17. Roy's Football Shirts was like a vintage classic football shirts retailer, mainly sold through Instagram and Shopify at the time, although I started on Depop and eBay. So that's my origins, Depop and eBay. And it was doing good money. It was doing like 10K a month. Yeah, 10K a month. But the main constraint for me at that time was my time, because I was selling like 50 pieces of clothing each week, individual pieces. So I'd have to sit down, photograph each shirt, list them, market them, postage, package them. It was very time consuming. And so when I read that book, the book was basically saying you just need one product. And I thought, what could I do with all these football shirts that I owned? And the idea was the mystery football shirt. So yeah, that book led me to launching this product. It led me to hiring skilled people way more skilled than me, and it led us to growing exponentially really, really quickly. And so a lot of the principles from that book I still try to do. Like, I reread it last summer when I thought I was straying from the message a wee bit. And it's mainly just delegation. It's stuff like, people are very, I have to do everything in the business, especially founders. They have to pick, pack, they have to market, they have to, and at the start you do have to do a lot, but over time you need to delegate. And that's what that book taught me. It changed the way I viewed work per se, because I always thought of it as the traditional, you go 9 to 5, because I studied finance, finished it this summer, and that's always when I was especially like 18, I was like, I'm going to go and just study. I watched Wolf of Wall Street and I thought, heck yeah, that's for me. But yeah, it changed my life reading that book. There's a few others as well. I finished one recently which had a profound change on my opinion of like what leadership is. I'll maybe speak about that down the line. I'm not a full master at leadership by any means, so I need to practice it a bit more before maybe I preach on it. But yeah, what else happened this week? So I was chatting with my boy Jamie. He runs 2 businesses now. And he also advises Kings League on refereeing. He's a referee. His business is in football refereeing, and he's just launched a new one called Jam Rave, which seems to be doing very well from everything I hear from him. Been to a few of them, they seem decent. And he was sending me across this patent he's filing, and it kind of triggered a nightmare maybe is better said, from when we got started and we filed our first patent. So our name, everyone confuses us. They think it's Mystery Shirt in a Box. It's actually just Shirt in a Box is the name. It makes no real difference anyway. So our name is very hard to get like a patent or a copyright for, a trademark, maybe is the correct terminology. Because think about it like this. You have 4 words and two of them are really common in so you can't get a trademark for that. Shirt is really common, and box is also really common. So it's just the fact they're all really common makes it very hard to get a trademark for. So when we started up, we were basically told no chance you'll get a trademark for that. Fair. So then we went for the next best thing, a trademark for our logo. So we applied for that. I think it was like 250 quid. We just paid the lawyer. We obviously had the logo all done already. Some guy, by the way, I found off of Fiverr, and it's still our logo today. I think it's a sick logo. Probably does need updated, but it does what it says on the tin. So yeah, we started that patent process, or copy, trademark, whatever the process is called. It went in. We didn't hear back for like 3-4 months. And then we heard someone was filing against us. And the company, I believe, was called Shirtbox. They sell novelty t-shirts. So like, you know the really naff t-shirts that say like world's best dad or I've been to Rome, stuff like that. They sell those, and completely kind of unrelated to us, but they were saying basically Shirt and Box were theirs, and anything that sold shirts and in boxes. I don't even know if they sold them in boxes. They probably do. I've never bought off them. But yeah, so we had to file against them to basically like argue we were allowed to. And they were saying at the time, who are we? We were selling fake jerseys and stuff like that, which we had to prove. We weren't selling fake jerseys. And then they tried to like dig up bad comments on our Instagram post from people like saying we sold fake jerseys and stuff like that, and tried to use it against us. And our lawyer at the time, I've never actually met this fella, but he's recommended by somebody. He seemed to be like cheap as well. He did a good job because we won, but he told us at the time when we filed for it, we had 20% chance of winning. So he seemed to do a good job, but imagine there's a world where like we don't have our logo. We probably have to change our name. I think we were told that we'd have to change our name as well. So it could be called completely different name, and then this business could be called or this podcast, could be called a completely different name. Also got some feedback on the name of the podcast. Some people wanted out of the box, some people wanted inside of the box, but we ended up being building the box. Doesn't really make a difference, I don't think. It's like the idea of building, like we're laying bricks by the hour, the old saying. So that's why we end up going with it. Another thing this week is holidays. So it's actually been a problem for us for a couple of years, but I haven't actually diagnosed it myself and like realized it was a problem. So, and I know I sound kind of stupid saying this in terms of like, what the heck are you on about? The holidays aren't problems, but let me go into this a bit more. People going on leave, I have no problem with that. Obviously, everyone deserves leave, and heck, you need it sometimes. You come back revitalized. But the problem was when people went off on leave is that they would either tell someone, oh, this needs done, and then they wouldn't tell them how, or they just wouldn't tell someone, or they'd do it beforehand and they maybe schedule it, but then they'd forget about it. Basically, things just got lost because there wasn't clear enough communication. And it's been really obvious to me now because we've had about 3-4 people go on holiday all around the similar times, like one off at this time, one off next week, blah, blah, blah. And like stuff just kept getting dropped, and I felt like we were losing momentum. So now we've learned, well, I don't know if it's correct, but we're going to put in this procedure in place where if you're going off, you basically say what needs done to your junior, to your senior, if you have one. And we have a meeting one day before you go away. We make sure the person knows exactly what's getting covered. They know how to do it, because that happens a lot. You go like, oh, you need to like help with these returns, but then you haven't actually taught them how to do returns, and you just figure they'll figure it out, which isn't productive at all. So we have that kind of meeting. Basically, it's an SOP. We'll have that meeting a week or a day before you go on leave, and then when you come back, we'll revisit and be like, what did we learn from this? Is there stuff we need to do better next time? It's a trial at the minute, so we'll trial it the next time someone goes on holiday. I think Isabel is maybe next time on a holiday. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But if anyone else has got suggestions, it's just basically people going on leave and then you lose momentum. Like obviously when someone picks up your slack when you're off, you do think it's not going to be as great, but it's just basic stuff getting missed as well. That was pissing me off. August, by the way, is always a shit month, especially in the UK, for like anything, because everyone's on leave. Like everyone in England, obviously school kids and stuff like that, they're always off. So if you're ever like doing stuff with like a partner business, the replies you get are dreadful. We've also implemented a new ad system, so we're gonna have to see if this works. I'll feedback if it does. But what we're doing now is we've split the day up. So Monday, Tuesday, we're gonna do research, we're gonna do ideation, we're gonna do learning as well, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're filming, editing, getting stuff live in the ad account. Because what I found is we were like bouncing from one project to another, and we weren't having that kind of learning or research phase. Like it was getting missed because we were like, we just need to make more ads, but we weren't being strategic with the thinking behind what ads we were making. And what I found, and I don't want to be unfair because the guys in the team are really good, but they're creative, so they need structure as well. So I think that structure on Monday, Tuesday, you don't make ads on Monday, Tuesday, you just think about ideas, you research, you learn. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you just go execution. I think that'll be good for them. And I'll see, we'll give it 4 or 5 weeks, we'll review, and then we'll keep going. So like part of the book club as well on that, they'll be doing the book club every Tuesday. Also coming in on Monday, it was cool to hear, and this is just a minor thing, but it's also just still epic. So 2 girls on our team, Svetlana, Isabella, they actually met up on the weekend and went for a hike. And why is that cool? Because you might be wondering, it's just people are like bonding outside of work. Like we're actually building a team here. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but like most people in their workspace like don't mesh. Like it's just a colleague, and you might have some shite banter with them, but I think that's really cool that we're actually building something where like people are friendly with each other. And I hope to see more of that. We have like a general no dick policy, which seems to be going well. We've had some people in the past who were a bit dicks, but I think that was mainly due to poor hiring on my behalf, and we're now over that. Last week I told a story about returns. This week it's not even a return. I want to tell a bit about, we had an angry customer come in who received a jersey, and I don't like speaking bad about customers because I love them, they're the best, but this one it's like a funny story. They were complaining that the top they got, they called fake. Like they were like, it's 100% fake. They were saying our guarantee was bullshit. We asked, how do you know it's fake? Their proof was the photo. Like they sent a photo of the shirt they received, and then they sent a photo of like the image our manufacturer had used on their website. So the manufacturer we bought off had used on their website, and goes, you can clearly see the difference. Oh, it was annoying. So just explaining to them like we actually buy from that manufacturer, and then trying to prove that to them. They were threatening to go to trading standards and stuff, saying like we were selling fake jerseys. I think sometimes you just can't win. Customers are always right, even if they're wrong. We also though had some really lovely customer interactions. So as I touched on last week, the Trump de minimis things that came in. There was a comment on the video saying hope you work it out, but also we had a few people reach out, just emailed, just saying, there's one which was really cute. It was like this I think it was a fella. He said like his son goes to school every day in America wearing one of our jerseys. He's now in like 8-9 jerseys from us, and he was basically just offering to help. Like if we need a warehouse or something like that, just message him and he can help us set up. So that was cool. But we are all sorted now. We signed with a 3PL there, a guy called Cody from Ship Smarter. That you're listening to this, Cody, but if you are, we're excited to work together. He's based out of Indianapolis, so I'll let you know how it goes. I need to get over there and actually just visit the warehouse. Maybe I'll film that too. They do a lot of brands. The one I know, which Stu, our CFO, told us they do, is Built Different, I think, or Built Apparel, which are like a clothing brand out of the UK. So they said they're legit, they're good. So that reference is enough. I got on with Cody when I got on the call, and the pricing was dead simple. So if anyone else is looking one, I'd give it a call. I can't vouch for the service as yet, but I think the guy's pretty chill. Since the Gary Neville podcast, we've had a lot of issues with just delays with orders, and it's really frustrating. We're coming out the other side of it now, so we're about 1,000 orders behind by the end of this week in terms of fulfillment. So that'll be cleared up by the end of next week. But it's essentially how the problem came about was a few things. Well, Gary Neville came in, huge increase in orders, and then it takes our supply chain 4 to 6 weeks to catch up. Another problem that came about from that was we found our logistic partners, specifically FedEx, just were not good enough. So they kept dropping the ball. We just got a package through the door there, 1,000 tops. They've been stuck with them for 4 weeks up at Nuts Corner, which, if you don't know, Northern Ireland's like 30 minutes from our office. Really, really frustrating because we had these orders that we need to get out. The shirts were like 30 minutes away, but they couldn't deliver them. They wouldn't let us collect them. It was like this whole error where we put in the weight per shirt was 0.2 kg, so 20 gram or 200 grams, and they put the whole shipment as 0.2 kg, even though it was 10 boxes of 20 kg per box, so 200 kg. So yeah, just it was annoying and really, really frustrating. So stuff like that's held us up. We should be fixed now because we're getting a warehouse in Turkey. So how our operation will run is we'll have a warehouse in Turkey where we ship to the US, and then we have a warehouse. We ship from the warehouse in Turkey to us here. So yeah, it's been busy trying to fix that, and my head's a bit melted from comments and stuff like that. And I probably should have done better communicating to customers where the delays were, because we sent out an email this week and a lot of them were very sound about it. They were like, okay, that's fine. They understood the problems. So I think that's one for the future. If you ever have like order delays, just always over communicate rather than under communicate. I know previously when we did this like a couple of years ago, we never communicated and that was the worst. So we're getting better at it. And then one on the personal, which I'm just going to get started on now, is caffeine. So anyone who knows me closely knows I don't drink warm drinks. I just don't like them. I like cold drinks. Can't really explain why, to be honest, but that's how I've been forever. And so I haven't really drank caffeine until the last year, and basically was brought on through final year and then running this business, and I was like, sometimes I just need caffeine. So I went from like 1 Monster a week to 2 Monster a week, and then it starts getting every day. So recently I moved from the Monsters to Storm Rain, which is good, definitely better than Monster. But I definitely have found myself getting more stressed. I think that is the cause, because I've never really got stressed ever before. So I'm cutting that out, no caffeine again. Getting back on the supplements. So take like turmeric. It's like a mixed supplement thing from British Supplements, which is really well rated. So trying to get a bit healthier, because often that gets overlooked. And then I'm gonna hit a lot of eating this Christmas and Q4, Q3, and try and build some more muscle. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Getting on the protein and the creatine powder. Get jacked. You never know. Be funny, like the meme of the jacked guy behind the computer. Okay, I think I've yapped enough. That is all for this week. I hope stories were enjoyable. I'll be back next week. Trying to think anything big coming up. Bank holiday on the Monday, which is, I was just actually saying that is the worst thing, because you lose momentum. I think it'd just be better if the government gave you 5 more holidays you could just choose from instead of bank holidays when it's mandatory. But that's just personal opinion. But yeah, anyway, back next week. Thanks all for the support on the first one. Any comments, etc., I'll address in the comment section or in the next video. And thank you for support.